Hello everyone, I am Kaylee Velez and we're going to take a look at trait theory across analysis, comparing a real person and their personalities to their Facebook persona. Jane Smith is a 45-year-old woman. She has a husband, a dog, a bird, two adult children, a nephew that lives with her, and two grandchildren. She does not work, but is a homemaker. She has 3 autoimmune disorders. Trait theory history is based off 2 main ideas: individual characteristics that are for the most part consistent over time and across different situations, and it holds emphasis on the measurements of traits based on self-reported data gathered from tests. This theory was developed by Gordon Allport with his 4,000 words that describe personality traits, and Hans Eysenck with his 3 dimensions of personality: extroversion versus introversion, neuroticism versus emotional stability, and psychoticism. Raymond Cattell brought these ideas together by considering Allport's 4,000 words and condensing them to 171 traits, down to 16 traits, and added that to Eysenck's theory to bring forth the Big Five. The Big Five is a personality measuring tool that uses factor analysis by self-report. It measures the following 5 traits, low to high. For the following definitions of these traits, there are examples of the high side of the spectrum. The opposite would be the low. Openness is artistic, imaginative, and has intellectual interests. Conscientiousness, hardworking, self-disciplined, and has a need for order. Extroversion, sociable, cheerful, and active. Agreeableness, friendly, and compliant. Neuroticism, negative, emotionally, or unstable emotionality. Big Five analysis of Jane Smith. High openness. She likes to experience new things. Jane has an interest in the spiritual world and metaphysics. She enjoys traveling to new places, particularly where there are historical monumental landscapes that are not necessarily tourist attractions. She also enjoys art. Low conscientiousness. She rarely finishes projects. Jane often promises to complete chores or activities within her own home, all the way to participating in fundraisers, but backs out last minute or passes the responsibility onto her husband or children. Jane desperately wants a job, but does not apply to jobs she is interested in. Low extroversion. She will come up with many excuses to not socialize, even with her own family. Often makes plans but cancels last minute. Jane will say she is having a flare-up with one of her autoimmune disorders, so others will leave her alone. Low agreeableness. She does not think about others when it comes to the things she says. She often says she has no filter and is not sorry for it. Jane is strongly opinionated and does not often try to make amends. Jane also does not always follow her treatment plans for her autoimmune disorders because she does not like to give up things that she enjoys. High neuroticism. Jane is emotionally unstable to the point of not leaving her home for weeks at a time. When in a public situation, she often becomes sweaty and frantic. She believes everyone is out to get her and wants nothing to do with her. She often blames her life and how it has turned out on her children. Analysis of Jane Smith's Facebook. High openness. She often posts about her findings in the spiritual, metaphysical world and has a group that she is admin of that share the same interests and similar findings. Jane also posts about the many places she likes to travel to and ask about other hole-in-the-wall places to visit. High conscientiousness. She does not mention the projects she is in progress on or has no intention of finishing. However, she will post about finished projects, particularly her art. She also will post about fundraisers and see to it that it gets shared enough and to the right people so that the goal is met or close to it. She is also into fact checking to prove her points, so she does a lot of research and finds answers to subjects in question. High extroversion. Jane is talkative and outgoing on her Facebook. She loves to be involved in meaningful conversations and oftentimes posts thought-provoking and sometimes controversial questions or subjects to start conversations. Jane also comments on many other people's posts, even if it has nothing to do with her. She will make it about her. Jane loves to help with fundraisers and be involved in the community goings-on. Low agreeableness. Jane is disagreeable for a different reason on Facebook. Her opinion can be the only one that is correct, but if it is wrong, based on her fact-checking, she will try to convince others as to why it is wrong to single her out. She is, in layman's terms, a troll. Low neuroticism. Contrary to the previous observation, she comes off as laid back and taking life one step at a time if you do not read her comments. Her thought-provoking or controversial posts of her own are not hostile in any way. They seem to be simply made to provoke productive and constructive conversations. Jane does not seem to be like someone who stays in her house for weeks at a time and gets anxious at any functions. Jane Smith's cross-analysis. It seems that Jane is able to portray online who she thinks she is in person. While some of her traits are consistent in one way or another, the delivery of the consistent traits differs. Jane seems selective in what she shows of herself online versus what she shows to her in-person relationships. However, there are even inconsistencies in her online persona on other people's posts. She is what people call a troll, but on her own posts she is constructive and open to opinion. This is actually similar to her physical persona, because when calm, she can have a good conversation, if everyone is agreeable to her. But if someone comes to her with a conversation, she is combative and defensive. This is just in a more extreme way, possibly because behind a computer or smartphone, Jane has more time to think about what she is going to say versus being in person where she has to respond in real time. Based off this analysis, I would say that Jane is suffering from extreme anxiety, probably depression, and possibly a personality disorder. These are results of possible childhood trauma and abuse mixed with some predispositions to possible personality disorders. Some of Jane's behaviors, due to her traits, exhibit the possibility of histrionic personality disorder or suffering from phobias of some kind, both directly relating to the neurotic trait more than the others. Jack, in 2020, says that internet trolls are fully aware that they hurt people or provoke people online due to their high cognitive empathy. Jane seems to fit this description, but in a less sadistic way than a classic internet troll. There are some underlying issues that may explain more, because Jane does not seem to enjoy hurting people but enjoys provoking hard conversations. There can be an argument made either way for Jane. That is all I have. Thank you for listening.